One day, you will suffer. That's guaranteed. Not because life is unfair. Not because you're unlucky. Because every human being pays a price. The difference is, some people pay now. Others pay later. Some choose the pain of discipline. Others live with the pain of regret. The question is not whether you'll suffer. The question is, which pain are you willing to carry? Listen carefully. Because the choice you're making today may decide the rest of your life. Life gives everyone 2 options. Not 10. Not 20. 2. The pain of discipline. Or the pain of regret. And no matter who you are, you will experience one of them. The pain of discipline is temporary. It hurts when you wake up early. It hurts when you train. It hurts when you study. It hurts when you sacrifice comfort for growth. But eventually, that pain leaves. And it leaves behind strength, confidence, results, freedom. The pain of regret works differently. At first, it feels comfortable. You sleep in. You avoid the challenge. You postpone the decision. You choose what's easy. And for a moment, life feels easier. But years later, the bill arrives. You look around. And nothing has changed. The goals are still goals. The dreams are still dreams. The potential is still potential. That's when regret begins. Not loudly. Quietly. Like a voice in the back of your mind. A voice that asks, what if? What if I had started? What if I had tried? What if I had believed in myself? Those questions become heavy. Heavier every year. Because regret compounds. Just like success compounds. The frightening thing about regret is that it doesn't appear immediately. If it did, everyone would choose discipline. But regret is patient. It waits. It allows you to feel comfortable today. Then it collects payment tomorrow. That's why so many people get trapped. They mistake comfort for happiness. They mistake ease for peace. They mistake avoidance for safety. And by the time they realize the truth, years have passed. The truth is simple. Discipline hurts now. Regret hurts forever. That's the trade. That's the choice. And every day, whether you realize it or not, you're choosing one. When you avoid responsibility, you're choosing regret. When you break promises to yourself, you're choosing regret. When you postpone your growth, you're choosing regret. The decision may feel small, but small decisions create big futures. The person you'll become in 5 years is hidden inside the choices you're making today. Not the big choices. The daily ones. The quiet ones. The decisions nobody sees. That's where your future lies. Most people think success is built in major moments. It isn't. It's built in ordinary moments. Moments when nobody is watching. Moments when nobody cares. Moments when it's easier to quit. That's where lives change. Because every time you choose discipline, you become stronger. Every time you choose growth, you become stronger. Every time you choose discomfort, you become stronger. And strength compounds. Just like weakness does. The scary part. Weakness compounds silently. One lazy day feels harmless. One missed opportunity feels harmless. One excuse feels harmless. Until years later, you realize they were never isolated decisions. They were habits. And habits become destiny. That's why you must be careful. Because every day, life is asking the same question. discipline, or regret, growth, or comfort, future, or convenience. And whether you answer consciously or not, you're answering right now with your actions, not your words. Because words create intentions, actions create futures, and your future is being built today, one decision at a time. Nobody notices regret when it begins. That's what makes it so dangerous. It doesn't arrive with a warning. It doesn't knock on your door. It doesn't announce itself. It grows quietly, in the background, hidden beneath distractions, hidden beneath excuses, hidden beneath comfort. At first, everything seems fine. You skip the workout. Nothing happens. You waste a few hours. Nothing happens. You postpone your goals. Nothing happens. That's the illusion. Because something is happening. You just can't see it yet. Every excuse is creating a future. Every delay is creating a future. Every act of laziness is creating a future. The problem is, the consequences are delayed. And human beings are terrible at respecting delayed consequences. We fear immediate pain, but ignore future pain. That's why people choose comfort. That's why people choose convenience. That's why people choose easy. They are avoiding today's discomfort. Without realizing they're creating tomorrow's suffering. Regret works like poison. Not fast. Slow. Drop by drop. Day by day. Year by year. Until one morning, you wake up and wonder what happened. You wonder where the time went. You wonder why your life looks exactly the same. You wonder why the dreams never became reality. And deep down, you already know the answer. You waited. You delayed. You hesitated. You chose comfort over growth. Again. And again. And again. Most people think regret comes from failure. It doesn't. The deepest regrets come from inaction. The chances you never took. The words you never said. The goals you never pursued. The person you never became. Those are the regrets that stay with people forever. Because failure teaches lessons. Failure creates growth. Failure creates wisdom. But inaction creates questions. Questions that never disappear. Questions like, what if I had started? What if I had believed in myself? What if I had pushed harder? What if I had given everything I had? Those questions follow people for years. Sometimes for life. And the worst part? They can never be answered. Because time only moves forward. Never backward. That's why urgency matters. Not panic. Urgency. Understanding that every day matters. Understanding that opportunities have expiration dates. Understanding that your current choices are shaping your future reality. The people you admire understand this. They don't wait for perfect conditions. They don't wait until they're fearless. They don't wait until they're certain. They act. Despite uncertainty. Despite fear. Despite discomfort. Because they know something most people don't. The pain of action is temporary. The pain of regret is permanent. One disappears. The other lingers. Think about the older version of yourself. 10 years from now. Looking back at this exact moment. What would they want you to do? Would they want you to stay comfortable? Would they want you to keep waiting? Would they want you to continue making excuses? Of course not. They would beg you to begin. They would beg you to take the chance. They would beg you to stop wasting time. Because they understand something you might not fully understand yet. The opportunity you have today will never exist again. This exact day. This exact moment. This exact version of your life. Gone forever. Once it passes, it belongs to history. That's why regret hurts so much. It's the realization that time was available, and you didn't use it. Potential was available, and you ignored it. Opportunity was available, and you hesitated. Don't let that become your story. Don't let comfort write your future. Don't let fear decide your destiny. Because every day you delay your growth, regret grows stronger. Every day you take action, regret grows weaker. That's the battle. Not against other people. Not against circumstances. Against the future pain you're creating through today's choices. And the good news? You can stop it. Right now. With one decision. One action. One commitment. Because regret may be patient, but discipline is stronger. And every day you choose discipline, you take your future back. If regret is so painful, why do so many people choose it? Why do so many people stay stuck? Why do so many people keep repeating the same mistakes? The answer is simple. Because comfort feels good. Right now. And human nature loves immediate rewards. Your mind doesn't care about who you could become in 10 years. It cares about how you feel today. That's the battle. Your future wants growth. Your mind wants comfort. Your future wants discipline. Your mind wants convenience. Your future wants transformation. Your mind wants certainty. And every day, those two forces fight for control. Most people never realize it. They think they're making random decisions. They're not. They're responding to comfort. Comfort says, stay in bed. Comfort says, skip it today. Comfort says, you deserve a break. Comfort says, start tomorrow. And the dangerous part? Comfort sounds reasonable. It doesn't sound destructive. It sounds friendly. It sounds harmless. That's why people trust it. That's why people listen. That's why people stay average. Because comfort never asks for much. Just one more day. One more excuse. One more delay. One more distraction. One more shortcut. And before you know it, years have disappeared. The tragedy is not that comfort feels good. The tragedy is what comfort steals. It steals ambition. It steals urgency. It steals potential. It steals the person you could have become. Slowly. Quietly. Without resistance. That's why average lives are created. Not through massive failures. Through small comforts. Repeated daily. Think about it. Nobody accidentally becomes great. Nobody accidentally becomes disciplined. Nobody accidentally builds an extraordinary life. Those things require intention. But becoming average, that's automatic. All you have to do is nothing. Nothing. Avoid the challenge. Avoid responsibility. Avoid growth. And average will find you. That's why success is rare. Because success requires discomfort. Success requires sacrifice. Success requires discipline. Things most people spend their lives avoiding. The world teaches people to seek comfort. But comfort has never built anything remarkable. Comfort didn't build champions. Comfort didn't build leaders. Comfort didn't build strong minds. Discomfort did. Every great achievement begins with discomfort. The discomfort of starting. The discomfort of learning. The discomfort of failing. The discomfort of growing. Growth and comfort cannot exist in the same place. One must die for the other to live. That's a truth most people never accept. They want growth without discomfort, results without effort, success without sacrifice. Life doesn't work that way. Everything valuable has a cost. Strength has a cost. Confidence has a cost. Freedom has a cost. The question is, are you willing to pay it? Because if you don't pay the price of growth, you'll pay the price of regret. And regret is always more expensive. Always. The pain of discipline lasts a season. The pain of regret lasts a lifetime. That's why the strongest people develop a different relationship with discomfort. They stop running from it. They stop fearing it. They stop avoiding it. They begin to welcome it. Because they understand something powerful. Discomfort is evidence. Evidence that you're growing. Evidence that you're improving. Evidence that you're moving beyond who you used to be. Every difficult conversation. Every early morning. Every hard workout. Every moment of discipline. They're all signs. Signs that you're becoming stronger. Meanwhile, comfort is often a sign of stagnation. A sign that you're staying the same. A sign that you're avoiding the very things that could change your life. That's why successful people don't ask, how can I stay comfortable? They ask, how can I grow? How can I improve? How can I become more capable? How can I become more disciplined? Because they know something most people never learn. Your comfort zone is not a home. It's a prison. And every day you stay inside it, the walls grow higher. The door becomes harder to find. The future becomes harder to reach. So don't trust comfort. Question it. Challenge it. Fight it. Because the life you want exists beyond it. The confidence you want exists beyond it. The freedom you want exists beyond it. And one day, you'll either be grateful you embraced discomfort, or you'll regret that you didn't. The choice is being made right now. With every decision. With every habit. With every excuse you accept. Or refuse to accept. Nobody dreams of an average life. Nobody grows up hoping to settle. Nobody looks in the mirror and says, I hope I never discover what I'm capable of. And yet, that's exactly how most people live. Not because they choose average. Because they slowly accept it. One compromise at a time. One excuse at a time. One comfortable decision at a time. Until one day, average becomes normal. That's how it happens. Not suddenly. Gradually. The scary thing about average is that it doesn't feel dangerous. It feels familiar. It feels safe. It feels acceptable. You can live an average life for years, without realizing what it's costing you. You still wake up. You still go to work. You still pay your bills. You still survive. But surviving and living are not the same thing. There is a difference. A massive difference. One is existence. The other is purpose. One is routine. The other is growth. One is settling. The other is becoming. Most people spend their lives surviving. Very few spend their lives becoming. Because becoming requires courage. The courage to leave behind who you are. The courage to challenge old habits. The courage to demand more from yourself. That's why average is expensive. Not financially. Spiritually. Mentally. Emotionally. The cost of an average life is hidden. It's hidden in unrealized potential. Hidden in missed opportunities. Hidden in dreams that never leave your imagination. Think about that. Somewhere inside you, there is a version of yourself that is stronger, smarter, more disciplined, more confident, more capable. A version that could change everything. But every day you settle, that version grows further away. Every day you choose comfort, that version becomes harder to reach. Every day you accept less than you're capable of, that version becomes a memory of what could have been. That's the true cost. Not failure, not struggle, not hard work. The true cost is never finding out who you could have become. Imagine reaching the end of your life, looking back, not at what you did, at what you didn't do, the risks you never took, the goals you never pursued, the courage you never found. That's painful. Far more painful than discipline. Far more painful than sacrifice. Far more painful than temporary discomfort. Because at least discipline creates possibility. Average creates limitations. And limitations become regrets. The world is filled with people carrying invisible regret. People who once had dreams. People who once had ambition. People who once believed they could do more. Until life convinced them to settle. Don't let that happen to you. Don't allow your standards to shrink. Don't allow your vision to fade. Don't allow your potential to die quietly. Fight for it. Fight for the life you want. Fight for the person you want to become. Fight for the future that is still possible. Because nobody else can do it for you. Nobody can dream for you. Nobody can sacrifice for you. Nobody can become you. That's your responsibility. And that's your opportunity. The truth is, the gap between average and extraordinary is smaller than people think. It's built through daily choices, daily discipline, daily standards, small actions, repeated consistently. That's all. Extraordinary people aren't always extraordinary because of talent. They're extraordinary because they refuse to accept average. They refuse to lower their standards. They refuse to settle. And that's available to you too. Right now. Not next year. Not someday. Today. The moment you decide that average is no longer acceptable. The moment you decide that comfort will no longer control you. The moment you decide that your future deserves more. Everything begins to change. Because average isn't a destination. It's a decision. And so is greatness. Every day you choose one. Every day you move closer to one. The question is, which one are you choosing? Because whether you realize it or not, you're paying a price. The only question is whether you're paying for growth or paying for regret. One day, for many people, the realization comes too late. Not because they didn't have potential. Not because they lacked intelligence. Not because they weren't capable. Because they kept waiting. Waiting for the perfect moment. Waiting for more confidence. Waiting for better circumstances. Waiting for a future that never arrived. And then, one morning they wake up. And the years are gone. The opportunities are gone. The energy is gone. The time they thought they had is gone. That's the moment. The moment every excuse comes back. The moment every delay becomes visible. The moment every wasted opportunity returns to their memory. Not to inspire them, to haunt them. Because regret has a way of speaking when everything becomes quiet. Late at night. Early in the morning. In the silence. It asks difficult questions. Questions nobody wants to answer. What happened to your dreams? What happened to your ambition? What happened to the promises you made to yourself? And for the first time, there are no excuses left. Only truth. The truth that time kept moving. The truth that opportunities came and went. The truth that potential alone was never enough. That's why this moment matters. Right now. Not 5 years from now. Not 10 years from now. Now. Because one day, you will either look back with pride, or look back with regret. There is no third option. You will either be grateful that you started, or wish that you had. You will either celebrate your discipline, or mourn your hesitation. You will either enjoy the rewards of growth, or carry the burden of wasted potential. The choice is happening today, not in some distant future. In the decisions you're making right now. Every excuse matters. Every habit matters. Every standard matters. Because futures are not created in dramatic moments. They're created in ordinary ones. A decision to wake up early. A decision to stay focused. A decision to keep going. A decision to refuse comfort. Those small moments build extraordinary lives. Or average ones. The direction is always determined by daily choices. That's why urgency is important. Not panic. Urgency. Understanding that this day matters. Understanding that this hour matters. Understanding that this moment matters. Because life is not waiting. The clock is moving. Whether you act or not. Whether you prepare or not. Whether you grow or not. Time keeps moving. And every second that passes becomes part of your story. The question is, what story are you writing? A story of courage? Or a story of hesitation? A story of growth? Or a story of excuses? A story of discipline? Or a story of regret? One day you'll know the answer. One day you'll meet the person your choices created. The person built by your habits. The person built by your standards. The person built by your daily decisions. And when that meeting happens, you'll either stand proud, or stand disappointed. Because the mirror never lies. It reflects exactly what you invested. Nothing more. Nothing less. That's why discipline matters. Not because it's easy. Because it's worth it. That's why sacrifice matters. Not because it's comfortable. Because it's necessary. That's why action matters. Not because success is guaranteed. Because regret is guaranteed if you do nothing. Read that again. Success is not guaranteed. But regret is guaranteed if you refuse to act. That's the truth. The uncomfortable truth. The truth most people spend their lives avoiding. But the people who change their lives face it. They embrace it. They use it. They allow it to create urgency. They allow it to create focus. They allow it to push them forward. And that's exactly what you must do. Starting today. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Today. Make the call. Take the risk. Build the habit. Start the journey. Because your future is watching. And one day, the older version of you will look back at this moment. The moment you finally decided. The moment you stopped waiting. The moment you stopped negotiating with your potential. The moment you chose discipline over comfort. Growth over convenience. Purpose over excuses. And when that day comes, when the years have passed, when the work has been done, when the results finally appear, you won't remember the discomfort. You won't remember the sacrifices. You won't remember the struggle. You'll remember one thing. You started. While others waited. You acted. While others hesitated. You grew. While others stayed the same. And because of that, you became the person you were meant to be. So choose your pain. The pain of discipline. Or the pain of regret. Because one of them is coming. And the choice has always been yours. Now go. And make sure your future self never has a reason to say, I wish we had started sooner.